Alright, man. I just wanted to make this real quick because this is probably, unless like a trade happens, you're probably not going to see me on here for a little bit. Unless like a trade or something happens. But, I'm probably going to be quiet for till after the bye week and, we play the Colts. Um, first off, first and foremost, again, I want to say thank you to Desert Eagle 90 and, his wife for, opening their home up to me and, watching the game like despite the results of the game, everything I did yesterday in Philly out of blast. So, shout out to him. Rest in peace to Leo's cheesesteaks. Kind of sucks we didn't get a cheesesteak from there, but it is what it is. But getting into this game in particular, this one, like I said, it's like a few things, but like really, bottom line, it's nothing we did horrible or they did really well. Like, I think at the end of the day, we just got outplayed and outcoached. Bottom line, we and better team won. Both teams played about as good as they could. There weren't a whole lot of mistakes by either side, so for the most part, it was an even game. But there were some problems that I'm going to get to. Um, I want to say honestly, um, I'm extremely disappointed with Keelan Cole this year. Like from his rookie season last year, like the guy was undrafted. He came on, did well last year for us. Had the first two games, especially the Patriots game, it looked like he was going to take the next step and become the number one guy. Because no matter what happens, it's not Marquise Lee. I'm going to tell you that right now. Regardless of what he does next year, or if he stays here next year, or we trade him, whatever, it's not Marquise Lee. I'm sorry, it's not. But this last game, just this game in particular, like it's horrible with this guy. Like it's like this guy forgot how to catch and hold on to a football. Like that fumble was so costly, and him dropping passes. Like I'm glad Doug Marone had the balls to pull him out the fucking game because after that fumble, you didn't see him the rest of the game. Like I don't know what's going on with him, and honestly, it's not. And honestly, I wouldn't be sad or upset if he ends up getting traded. Like I don't know what's going on with this guy, but he's not who he was or what the fuck happened. But like I don't know how to explain it, man. But like people were throwing blame around and everything. Like that dude in particular was fucking up, and I'm gonna blame Nathaniel Hackett a little bit for the play calling. Like I understand the Eagles got a great defensive line, but 6 carries for Carlos Hyde. 6. It's like you keep talking about you want to get back to running the football. Well, how you going to get back to running the football if we make a trade for a guy who's very good and can help this offense, no question about it. But you give him the ball 6 fucking times. A couple runs he looked good. Like you can't completely deviate it because I think, despite Bortles playing well yesterday, I think a lot of his problem is they're forcing him to do too much, and you know what happens when you force Blake Bortles to do too much. And speaking of Bortles, I can't put yesterday on Bortles. I'm not ready to come back and say he's definitely the answer for our franchise. I still think we need to draft another quarterback next year, but yesterday I can't put that on Blake Bortles. I'm sorry, I can't. He really should have had 3 touchdowns yesterday. I mean, he had the third string tight end drop a ball in the end zone. He had, the fourth string tight end drop the ball in the end zone. And then, it was a tough catch, but it was definitely a catch he could have made that passed to DJ Chark. And speaking of DJ Chark, people talking about this game. Like I've seen some people say this game is squarely on him. You know how fucking dumb that sounds, bro. Let's look at it. At that point, we're down 15-24, right? We're down 9 points. If he let's say he catches the ball and it's a touchdown, we still got to score again, and we didn't do that on the last drive. Like that's the one thing I'll blame Blake Bortles for. He had a running lane through on that 4th and 2 play. Just you're gonna get it with your legs. Just take it. Don't risk, and find a receiver on the next drive. You could have gotten 2 yards with your legs. Like, and that's the other thing. On 4th and short, we're passing the fucking ball. Like, no, you don't do that. Not when you got a back like Carlos Hyde. Before, when we had just TJ Yeldon and nobody else, I could understand it. But now, no. Let him do what you traded a 5th-round draft pick to do. I mean, yeah, I get it. The Eagles have a good defensive line. But when you force Blake Bortles to throw, what was it, like, I don't know, 80% of the time, I guess? I'm just throwing out a random number. But something like that, you force him to throw that much, you're asking to fuck up. That's just who he is. That's what you signed. I mean, you signed him, but that's who he is. And I'll get to DJ Chark now. Like, besides that, when he got more playing time after they took him call out, dude made some good plays. Like, people talking about his game was horrible. He made some good plays. I said this about DJ Chark when we drafted, because I was really happy we drafted DJ Chark. He has limitless potential. He's going to be a great receiver, but he's not going to be one of those guys that comes on right away. That's why, when we had the depth that we had, him playing behind and using him seldomly was probably good. But at the same time, too, he's not going to get any better unless he plays. So I think at this point, you got to start playing Chark more. Let him. I mean, he's a 2nd-round pick. Let him do what he does. But with him, there's gonna be mistakes the first year, maybe the first 2 years. There's gonna be mistakes, but that doesn't mean he can't fix them. Like with a lot of coaching, he can. He's gonna be a good player. I promise. He's gonna be a good player. And then, shit. And defense-wise, I mean, I know our secondary was depleted. That guy Quentin Meeks, even though he can't fucking catch, he made some good plays on the ball. Like, think about that. The guy's a rookie, our 4th-string corner, like 4th on the depth chart, and you're asking him to cover, Nelson Aguilar or whoever the number 2 receiver is for the Eagles. I mean, that's an assignment in itself. So, yeah, Johnny's whack, you're right. The drops are getting ridiculous. But, yeah, I mean, that dude played well before he got hurt. And just as a whole, going forward, I think we really need to start, making D.D. Westbrook the go-to guy. Because honestly, excuse me. Because honestly, he's the one that's producing the most. Like, when he gets the ball in his hands, I don't see him drop too often. He needs to be the focal point of our passing game. Because that's another guy with limitless potential. Like, I think now it's starting to show who we really need to start feeding the ball to. And honestly, going forward, Westbrook, because he's the most reliable, and Chark to get him reps, and eventually he's gonna produce and do great things. And I know this is hard to compare, but look at Justin Blackmon as a rookie season. He didn't start off strong, but when they started giving him the ball, he really started producing. But and then of course we all know the story. He became a dumbass and got arrested and got kicked out of the league. But shit happens. Target's kind of the same thing without the drugs and drinking. And speaking of drugs and drinking, well, not really drugs, but there's got to be some kind of discipline for these motherfuckers outside of the There's got to be some kind of discipline for these motherfuckers when they go out. Like that nightclub incident, trying to skip out on a tab, like that shit was ridiculous. Like there's no way that should happen a day before a game. I could see it if it's like a couple days before a game, but the day before the game, like, are y'all fucking for real? Like, there's no way shit like that should happen. But let's see what else. And people. I seen some shit like people are starting to blame Dave Caldwell. Like, for what? Do y'all remember when Dave Caldwell took over? Like, outside of his first draft, because we all remember that was the year they drafted Luke Jokel, Jonathan Cyprien, everybody from that draft was just shit. But outside of that draft, he's brought great players to this team. Like, look at it. I mean, I'm not gonna say Blake Bortles, but wasn't a horrible pick. He's not. He wasn't Johnny Manziel. He wasn't Teddy Bridgewater so far. But look who else he's brought. I mean, Allen Robinson, before he became a dickhead and wanted to leave, Brandon Linder, Telvin Smith, Calais Campbell, Jalen Ramsey, Miles Jack, Yannick Ngakoue, AJ Boye, Barry Church, Tashawn Gibson, Malik Jackson, Marcel Darius, Dede Westbrook, Keelan Cole before he became a piece of shit, Leonard Fournette, Cam Robinson. The list goes on. The list goes on. He's brought great players to this team and made it relevant again. Do y'all really want to go back to the fucking Gene Smith days when he had so much dope up his nose and alcohol going down his throat that he ran this fucking team into the ground? I remember those days. I don't want to go back. So the whole thing with Dave Caldwell and Tom Coughlin, like, just shut the fuck up because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like, that's retarded. The great talent that he's brought here and made us relevant again, like, that's just stupid. And people are going to say, well, Leonard Fournette's hurt all the time. Okay, what would you have done? The franchise was already committed to Bortles for that year. That's the only thing that we could have done, that we really could have done different. Was maybe draft Deshaun Watson or Pat Mahomes, and then get Alvin Kamara in the third round. Like, that's just looking at it from hindsight. But you don't know what these fucking people are going to do. The draft is so much of a fucking crapshoot. Like, that's what people fail to realize. Like, after a year or two, it's easy to say, oh, we should have drafted this guy and this guy and this guy. But you really don't know. You don't know how hard of a job that is. Because damn near everybody besides, like, Florida State fans who wanted Dalvin Cook, most people wanted us to draft Leonard Fournette. And his rookie season, he had a great year. And there's still time for him to come back and produce. Hopefully he does. But, I mean, what do you expect? Because, like, y'all forget the great things he did last year, but all of a sudden he gets hurt and now he sucks. Like, y'all know how dumb that sounds? If look at it like this. If Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, like, and he's out for the season, are you going to hear motherfuckers in Green Bay go, oh, we should have drafted Alex Smith? No! Like, that's just stupid. So, honestly, I think Dave Caldwell's done a very good job. Like, firing him or Tom Coughlin would be a mistake we would regret for a long time. Because if you do that now, You get a new guy, and he's going to let a lot, and he's already going to let a lot of people go and bring in a new thing. I understand the stubbornness with Bortles, but I think that's going to end soon. Like I think after this year, if it doesn't get turned around, they're gonna realize we're not gonna win a Super Bowl with this guy, and they're gonna find a way to get rid of him, or they're gonna draft a guy, keep him on the roster to so when we release him in his final year, it won't hurt the cap, and that'll be the end of it. I mean, but there's still time for him to produce. Like, look at that's the other thing. Like, people are completely writing off the season, and I'm going to take into account something our good friend Tyson said that he told us, and he's right. It's not a sprint; it's a marathon. The season is not a sprint; it's a marathon. You're right. First quarter of the season, we had a great first quarter of the season. The second quarter of the season, we shit the bed in all those games. Now we're going into the bye week and into the third quarter. The third quarter has an opportunity to be very good for us. Because look who we play. We play the Colts, trash. Pittsburgh, we own them. Bills, trash. Colts, trash. We could if we get our shit together and make the necessary adjustments and moves that we have to over the bye, we could very easily win all four of those games and get back to 7-5. And we were 7-5 at one point last year, so there's still time. Or actually, I'm sorry, we weren't 7-5 at one point last year. Excuse me, but still, there's time. Like 3-5, yeah, it sucks right now, but it's not the end of the world. There's still time. With the schedule we got coming up, there's still time. And do you really think Houston's going to keep this up for the rest of the year? No. They're not. They're going to lose some games. But now third quarter should be a good opportunity for us, and it should be easy for us. But the fourth quarter is where it's going to get interesting, because there are definitely must-win games in there. If you end up doing good in the third quarter, and that's a big if. We still got to get our shit. Like, even though we're capable of beating all four of those teams, still got to get our shit together and make the necessary adjustments. But the next slate of games, it's the Titans, the Texans, the Foreskins, and the Dolphins. So that's a tough slate of games, and we're probably gonna have to beat the Texans and Titans. Like, those are gonna be must-win games, and they're both on the road. So that's the other thing. So that's the other thing too. If we go on so that's the other thing. If we come back out of the bye and get back to doing what we do best, and we start winning again, I don't want to hear one motherfucker from our fan base talk about we're running the AFC or we're gonna go to the Super Bowl, because we're not there yet. We may not even get there this year. We still gotta fucking make the playoffs first. I don't want to hear shit about that until we're actually in the goddamn Super Bowl. Because right now we don't run the AFC. It's not looking good for Super Bowl chances. I don't want to hear a motherfucker talk about that shit until we're actually there. Because we did like some of the players in the locker room. We did like Jalen Ramsey and some of the players in the locker room are doing. We talked that shit way too early, and it bit us in the ass. So let's say all goes well and we do go on that 4-game winning streak. Don't start talking shit yet. Because we're not there yet. We're clearly not there yet. But anyway, we'll see what happens. So I mean, that's all I got, man. There's nothing really else to say. So I don't know. Just hopefully we get our shit. Just hopefully after this bye week, we get our shit together and we start winning some games because they're very winnable games. We just have to make the adjustments and get back to doing what we do. So, and no matter what, man, I'm not gonna give up on my team, dude. Like I'm here for the rest of the year. I'm here every year. Like people may go away and just just say fuck it. Like man, it's still a long season. We're only halfway into it, and even when shit looks its worst, I'm not giving up on my Jags. It's kind of fan I am. So, anyways, that's it. It's your boy Jagging off with GenJ.com, 904 at Bold City, Duval. TTC, I'm still here every week. Y'all ain't fucking getting rid of me. And I'm out.